Hello. Hello, everyone. Just had a little bit of a problem with the computer, but I think I'm here. I think you can see me. Looks like I'm live. Hooray. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? How are you holding up? This Facebook Live today is to address exactly that. How are we holding up? I've talked to so many people over the past, 4, 5, 6 weeks now, whatever, wherever, whatever day it is, whatever year it is, I have no idea. Um, who have said to me, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I don't usually have headaches. I usually sleep really well. I feel really unmotivated. I can't get anything done. In our previous world, we may have said, well, let's think about why. Have you changed your diet? Are you eating something different? Are you this or that? Well, now there's a lot of reasons why, right? And I've noticed that people aren't really clear on that. So I wanted to come on today and talk about what's going on so that we don't have to spend more mental energy trying to figure out what's going on, and we can spend our mental energy trying to shift it, right? Giving us some good options for treatment. There is no answer to that reason of why right now, other than everything that's going on. So that's what I'm here to do today, is to kind of explain and normalize your experience. This is more educational, today's Facebook Live, but I first wanted to do ear activation because this is a great form of treatment, of really, really easy way to calm yourself down and be receptive to new information and stress relief. So ear activation, if you didn't catch this before, you're going to start by pulling on your ears. That's basically all it is. You're going to pull on your ears. You see what I'm doing here? The innervation of the ear goes right to the brain. And so when you pull and activate the ear, it helps to get us out of the fight or flight mode and into rest and repair. So I'm pulling kind of hard right now, and you'll see in a few seconds your ears get a little bit red. So you just pull from the bottom all the way up, pull it, away from the head. It doesn't feel great. It's a little bit painful. Um, and then take a deep breath in and allow yourself to come into this present moment and feel a little bit of a buzz. That's ear activation. Super simple and easy way that you can, when you're feeling any feeling of tension or discomfort, can do that and kind of feel yourself calm right down. So let's talk about pandemic trauma, y'all. Let's review a little bit of what is called simple trauma. So an example of simple everyday trauma is like the death of a grandparent, right? So I'll use my grandmother, may she rest in power, as an example. She passed away just last year. I was in my late 30s. I had a great relationship with her, and I was able to find out that she was sick, spend time with her, able to process the emotions of her impending death. And then when she did pass, she was, we all got together. We were able to have a funeral. We all hugged and cried together. We wrote poetry for her. So that was what would be called a simple trauma, right? Something that's really difficult to go through, but you have all the proper tools that you personally and a society needs to process something like that. Now, let's review what's called complex trauma, which is a part of what we're going through now. So complex trauma is something that is, first of all, this was unexpected. Most of us, unless we'd been watching China, we're not ready for this at all. We got shut down within a few days of finding out that the virus was in Michigan or the States. And complex trauma can involve the feeling of being trapped, which shelter in place is telling us all not to move. And then it has repeated events, right? So numerous of people are experiencing loss, and we don't know when it's going to happen again. the news is changing every day. We're hearing new and scary things about how the virus is impacting the world. So this is complex trauma that we're experiencing now. And so I want to explain kind of what's happening in our brains to help cope with this. Really, our brains are giving us coping mechanisms by heightening cortisol and adrenaline. This is so that we can know, okay, the brain is saying you're in danger. What decisions do you have to make quickly? How do you get yourself out of this? These are hormones that are meant to be released in acute situations to deal with acute issues. But now, since we are in this sustained period of crisis, we are now 5-6 weeks in experiencing emotional dysregulation as an effect of heightened cortisol and adrenaline. So that means we don't know what we're feeling. I don't know why I've got good days and bad days. I don't know why I feel so up and down. Sometimes I love my kids. Sometimes I want to kick them out of the house. Sometimes I'm grateful for my job. Other times I wish I never had to go back in again. We're just having a huge amount of emotional dysregulation that we're not used to when we lived our more stable lives. So common things that we can experience when we go through trauma, when we're going through this, sustained period, is basically anything. So in Chinese medicine, we view the body as being related to nature. So there's the elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And those elements are related to the different internal organs. So if I am a fire element, I may tend towards having fire symptoms in the body or symptoms of inflammation. And these are just a few random examples, but inflammation, say heat in the body, such as trouble sleeping at night, headaches, imagine fire rises. So there's a few different ways that person might experience it. You almost want to think of it as like your Achilles heel. So if you've always tended towards digestive issues, now you're going to have them. If you've already tended towards insomnia, now it's going to be blown up. If you've been a migraine sufferer, it could be worse right now. And so, again, with not trying to explain the whys, usually my whole job is to be a detective and understand, why are you having these symptoms? What is the underlying cause? But now we have to think, there are underlying triggers all day, every day. So for those people who have been in chronic illness and understand what that means, now they have to know that they're kind of all around us. The good news is that the medicine for these things is often inside us, and I'm going to get into that. But what I just want to say is give everybody permission to stop trying to analyze, stop trying to figure it out, stop trying to make sense of it, because we really are in kind of a nonsensical, non sequitur time where you can just assume that there's going to be that upswing of emotional intensity and physical intensity. The other day, my husband and I got into an argument that was just stupid, and I stopped us. I said, I'm just going to give us a quarantine pass. Like, this is ridiculous, and we would never have this argument otherwise, and we should just stop it. Like, we don't even let ourselves figure it out. There's no reason to continue going on. We just have to know that this has happened because our levels of intensity are just that much higher. So give yourself a pass right now. There's no reason to figure out why you're feeling this way. What can you be doing? Can you be changing your diet? And those things are there. We can be changing our diet. We can be changing our lifestyles. But just the normal things that you would ask yourself of trying to be, a smart human and diagnose what's going on with me. I feel a little off right now. You can just set that aside. You don't have to do that right now. We're all a little off. And that's a nice way of putting it. So in terms of physically, the best thing to do, I think, is really to put in on yourself right now. Let me get back to some of my things I was going back to, in terms of the way that you're going to be experiencing this, it could be dreams, it could be insomnia, it could be digestive issue, headaches. The hyper state of vigilance that we get when we're going through high cortisol and high adrenaline, it can either be, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, what's going on? Is there something I need to fix? Stressed out, or it can be chronic fatigue. When your nervous system gets that revved up as a protective mechanism, it calms you down and says, go to sleep. I can't listen to this anymore. Go to bed, right? So some people are feeling exhausted right now, and some people are feeling like they can't sleep. So no, those are both ways of dysregulation in the brain. So our best response to this complex trauma is to be protective of our mental and physical health. This means that things that we already knew were good for us, we have to do 1,000-fold, right? We know it's good to exercise. We know it's good to meditate. We know it's good to have healthy relationships, but we could kind of survive without those at most times. We could push through any little inconvenience that would come up. And now it's like we don't have that capacity anymore. We really have to go in and fill our positive bank accounts, or whatever that expression is. You have to fill the bank account of love, of joy, of connection as much as you're able to, because we need those positive hormones circulating through the brain in order to combat some of the intensity of the cortisol and adrenaline and stress hormones. So hypervigilance is not good for the brain or the immune system. So in terms of emotions, when you are feeling an intense emotion, as I always say, let yourself feel it. Let yourself just have the expression of that emotion. If you think about all the things in the body, the way that the body works is to put input in and then have it come out. So the way that emotions work is we have either input from here or external input, and we process it and release it. The way that food works is we eat it and we process it and release it. Same with, our urine, and basically being awake, we deal with it, we process it, and then we go to bed and release it. So this is how the body wants to work, is a fluid, energetic transformation. Things come in and things go out. So when we push down anything emotionally, we become constipated emotionally. We become full of shit, either physically or mentally. And so it's our job to keep that rotating, to not attach to any one thing. It's like if you only ate one food and never had a bowel movement, that would be unhealthy, and we would never think to do that. So when emotions come, realize I am the vector for this emotion. I am the spirit that is allowing this emotion to come through and release. I'm not meant to grab onto it. I'm just allowing it to be there. And so that's how we can ride the waves of joy and peace and frustration and sadness. And then in terms of collecting in our bank account emotions that we want to experience, emotions that make us feel good and make us feel really happy, those are going to be both coming from our external situation as well as our internal. So emotions can be triggered internally, right? We can imagine a situation that makes us feel a certain way, or we can have a reaction to something externally that makes us feel a certain way. And again, emotions and hormones in our brain are released when we have those experiences. So I'm not going to get too much into tools and tips, because that's been all of our Facebook Lives up until now. But the ear activation is a good one. And in other Chinese medicine things are emotional freedom technique, natural healing tools, alternate nostril breathing, deep breathing, self-massage, things that you can do to love up on yourself and give you those happy chemicals. The body's natural, just plain old way of healing itself without us even realizing it or having the awareness: dancing, movement, love, crying, that releases great hormones through the body that help us to chill out. Nature, and even our imagination and imagining nature. So I've been occasionally watching videos of waterfalls lately, like, oh, it just feels good to be around a waterfall. So letting myself feel the energy of nature, even though I'm sheltered in place. So using our imaginations right now is a really great way of really shape-shifting our energy, even though we feel stuck because we're stuck inside our homes and inside, we're sheltered. This is where we can bring in different experiences that we don't need to get externally. So this is like the big cosmic trick right now, is like the universe is saying you don't have access to any of the things that you used to do outside to make you feel good on the inside. You don't get to go out and see your friends. You don't get to go shopping. You don't get to get acupuncture, right? We miss that. But what if the charge right now, what if the request of the universe is like, what can you do here? This is where we find our joy, our happiness, our peace. So how can you try to find that now when I'm not giving you as many outs? You don't have the capacity for unhealthy coping mechanisms or healthy ones. So how do we find healthy ones on the inside? And again, this is going to be the brain chemistry: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Dose. Those are the things that literally make us happy. So again, we can find that happiness from the inside by imagining it, or we can have it be triggered from the external. I think it's really best to have a solid relationship to joy on the inside. That person is the one that shines no matter where they go. Now, we're all also impacted by our surroundings, right? And it's also good to have a solid group of loving people around us who can reinforce that. Healthy coping mechanisms like dance and whatever it might be, church or temple, or places that we go in community that, again, reinforce that. But right now, when we're not given those opportunities, I feel like we really are being asked, like, who are you on the inside, and how can you bring that to your experience now? So I wrote a blog, months ago about dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, and what you can do to activate each individual thing. And I've actually pulled that out recently, and I gave it to the kids, and I said, I want you guys to do something from each category each day to basically be regulating your own inner world. And I mean, we've known this about exercise forever, right? Exercise releases endorphins and it's good for you. And most people have really realized, yes, it is. And that's a non-negotiable for me. Now there's these other things that we know. What are non-negotiables for my mental health? Exercise is there for both mental and physical, but there's also, for dopamine, dopamine is the chemical that keeps us really motivated and excited. Dopamine is all about new. So it's hard right now, right? Because we're not able to experience a lot of newness. So what can we do, again, internally? Music is a great dopamine releaser. Being creative, trying a detail-oriented new hobby is a great dopamine releaser. Oxytocin is going to be the love hormone. So that is giving and receiving touch and love. We actually have fostered a dog during this time. We got a dog about a week ago, and that dog has broken open my little heart chakra. Oh my gosh, I'm like, this dog loves me and I love this dog. It's just like so good to have something that feeling of unconditional love that dogs give. How can I give that to myself and to others? Serotonin, exercise, acupuncture. There's foods that you can eat for serotonin. If you think about tryptophan, turkey, that stimulates serotonin release. This ear activation stimulates serotonin. And endorphins. Endorphins: laughing, deep breathing, crying, singing. Even if you're not a good singer, just belt it out right now, and you'll feel after you do, whew, that got me to just feel good and kind of calm down a little bit more. So those are some of the ideas that I have for we're regulating our own inner chemistry right now as we deal with the stressors of the pandemic. How do we, you know, calm them down? How do we have the antidote? I think the antidote is on the inside. That's our real lesson right now. And trust me, it's not easy. Don't think I'm over here, doing all the right things. It's not easy. But I am practicing new things right now and practicing new ways of being and doing the best that we all can. And that's the thing too, I think, is giving ourselves that quarantine pass right now. We're not our best selves sometimes, and that's okay too. And to give ourselves a break when we need it. We're so used to in our old lives pushing through and doing whatever we have to do at the time. And right now, I think the universe is saying, do what you really need, not what capitalism is asking you or whatever it might be, right? Not what your responsibilities are asking you to do, but go within and find what you need. And if what you need is a nap and a stupid movie and some non-dairy ice cream, I've been there. All right, you guys, take care and we will see you next week. I love you all so much. Bye.